The 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy trim hits the market at $43,000 in all-wheel drive form, and once again the Korean automaker has delivered a car that feels much pricier than what's listed on the tag. I'm Jason, and let's see what that $43,000 gets you. In terms of power, we have a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder in most of the trim levels, but because we're in one of the top 2 trims, we get a turbocharger as well. This makes 281 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque, and it does not feel like it's wanting for power, even though it is a 4,000 pound SUV. Especially when you add in the optional all-wheel drive system. It is a typical front-biased all-wheel drive system where most of the time your power is going through the front wheels, but the back wheels will be added in as needed. If you would like under 20 miles per hour, you can lock in your all-wheel drive, so it is full-time all-wheel drive with the push of a button if maybe you're going over some rough terrain or some snow and ice or something where you just want that extra grip and you want to know it's there. But once you get above 20 miles per hour, it will go back into the automatic all-wheel drive. That system will also change as you cycle through your modes. We have a sport, a comfort, a snow, and a normal mode. There is no eco mode, but the smart mode essentially functions as an eco mode most of the time, unless you start putting your foot into it, and it will go more into a normal or a sport, sort of as needed. And if you're like me and you like to nerd out over things like which wheels are being powered at any given moment, you can do that through the system here, through the digital gauge cluster. It will show you which wheels are being powered at any given time. Since this one has more power, it also suffers a little bit in the fuel economy department, but it's still not too bad. Looking at 21 miles per gallon city, 28 highway, I'm averaging around 23 miles per gallon with mixed driving and a little bit of a lead foot. In terms of transmission, this one has the 8-speed dual clutch transmission. It is one of the better transmissions out there. It shifts nice and quickly and nice and smoothly, and we've even got paddle shifters if you decide you would like to shift for yourself. If you decide to do that and you don't touch a paddle for a while, it will actually pop back into automatic mode. Unless you are using sport, if you're in sport mode, then it'll let you hold gears for as long as you'd like. In terms of safety systems, this one has the nav-based radar cruise full speed with stop and go. It also has Hyundai's excellent lane centering assist, which does not bounce back and forth like some of the other systems out there. It stays very well centered, and that can help on a long trip with fatigue. It's not a system where you would want to let go of the wheel, but it will certainly help with fatigue on those long trips. Your information for lane keep assist, radar cruise, current speed, and speed limit are easily available in this heads-up display here. It also shows you when there's something in your blind spot, as does the mirror, as is typical. And if you hit your turn signal and there's someone in your blind spot, it will beep at you as well, but not a super harsh beep, just enough to let you know that there's something there. When you are cruising down the highway, the ride quality is pretty good actually, even though we are on this top spec with the big 20-inch wheels. If you want a little bit better ride quality, you can swap out those wheels or get one of the lower trims with the smaller wheels. That will certainly help with the ride quality, but it's actually pretty good here even with these 20s. And when you're not cruising on the highway, it actually handles pretty well. You know, there is a lot of body roll since it is a big truck, but it has a tight turning radius, so those oblique turns at the tight parking spots really actually can turn much tighter than I expected it to. Santa Fe has a big presence from the outside despite moving like a much smaller vehicle and despite being in one of 5 shades of gray offered. Please buy this in a color. These awesome looking 20-inch rims are exclusive to the top spec Calligraphy. The other trims get you 18s and 19s, and as always Hyundai hasn't skimped on the rubber with Continental cross contact all seasons. Heated mirrors, power folding with blind spot monitoring, body colored here obviously, but they are offered in black on some of the other trims. Mirrors in, mirrors out, mirrors in, mirrors out. I love the touch inside to unlock and outside to lock, though there's a bit of a delay on the lock and that always throws me off. Nice chrome side molding here for the Calligraphy trim level, as well as dark chrome up front exclusive to the Calligraphy, and lots of cooling going on. That big intercooler poking through since this one has a turbo. That intercooler is flanked by LED headlights, with the Calligraphy getting the projector headlights. Overall, a really nice front end design, especially these lights up here. LED lights continue in the back for the top 2 trim levels, and every Santa Fe other than the base gets you a hands-free liftgate. You can push the button in the back or hold this one here on the key. Hyundai is on their key game. This thing has some good weight to it, and this opens up into 36.4 cubic feet of space with the seats up and 72 cubic feet with the seats down. That's a ton for sure. And if you want to scare your enemies or your friends, if your friends are awful, you can use these park assist buttons to move the car forward and backward without even being in the car. Speaking of being scared, I am too scared to try that feature. Inside this classy beast, we're towing the line between Hyundai and Genesis, and I see some inspiration from Mercedes, or at least it reminds me a bit of the AMG GLE 53 that I was in, with the beige interior and the silver buttons and switches, especially on these doors. The calligraphy trim is the only way to get the Napa leather. Probably leave your calligraphy pen at home so you don't stain these seats. Heated rear seats offer space for days at 41.7 inches of legroom, more than enough for me at 5'7", and for forward-facing and for rear-facing seats. My daughter asked if the heated seats work through her car seat. Engineers take note, the kids want heated seats. She does like these blinds though. Note there is no third row here in the 4th generation Santa Fe. 3-row Santa Fe, which became the Santa Fe XL, became the Palisade a few years ago, while this one replaced the Santa Fe Sport. So nowhere to go from here but up front, where we have heated and ventilated 8-way power adjustable seats with 4-way lumbar support and very nicely placed bolsters. And the upper 2 trims get you memory settings and leg extensions. Nice. These are pretty comfy. Looking around, button enthusiasts rejoice as we have more buttons than a keyboard. Notably absent is a readout for what your temperature and fan are set at, but real buttons and switches are always appreciated, as is the decision to not fill this area with gloss black. It does look a little cheap and plasticky as well, it kind of is, but it's so much better than fingerprint black. Note that the heated and ventilated seat buttons are not sticky, and neither is the heated steering wheel button. I don't mean candy sticky, I mean when you turn the car off and back on again, those will be off. Speaking of the steering wheel, we have a pretty standard Hyundai wheel. It does feel a little cheap compared to how it looks in here, but it's fine and it's laid out nicely. Leather wrapped, and the calligraphy trim means perforated, probably poked out with a calligraphy pen. Behind the wheel is a big old 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster that will look very familiar if you've been in any other Hyundai recently. Driving mode, tack, speed, and dealer's choice for the middle. And in the upper trims, these dials change to blind spot cameras when you use your blinkers. I'm all for more reasons for drivers to actually use their blinkers, so props to Hyundai for that. And a nice touch here is you can still see your speed and your RPMs when those cameras change. We've also got a full color heads-up display with tons of info, but laid out in a way that doesn't feel cluttered. Though it is a bit confusing in other ways with the acronyms and flashing and color changing, but overall nicely done. Speed, traffic sign recognition, lane centering, nav-based cruise control settings are all in here. It even shows your blind spot warning in there. The other digital display is the 10.25 inch touchscreen. That's an 8-incher in the base trim, but this is smooth and clear and easy to use. There's even a quiet mode in here to mute the back speakers and let the kids sleep. And in this top trim we have surround view cameras, super helpful for parking in a tight parking spot or a cluttered garage. Charging is wireless, and I love how they put a slot here for your phone so it's out of sight and out of mind, and it doesn't slide around at all. And there's an indicator to show you whether it's charging or not. And even though CarPlay and Android Auto are wired, the USB port is right here next to the phone slot, and having a short USB-C cord works out great. Music here is coming through a 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. And finally, for the interior, we have an Eco Suede headliner in this top spec, and the upper 2 trims have this awesome gigantic sunroof. The Cruise, the 2023 Hyundai Santa Claus, the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. There it is. Wrap it up.